Well, as Nigeria celebrates its 62nd independence, its aviation industry has turned out to be a sore point, what many will say, of discourse at any forum. A debate on modern aviation practices arises among experts. As a sector already battered by financial incapacity, amongst other issues, it has always struggled to do a lot of things, including provision of basic infrastructure to cope with the increasing operational demand, especially during emergencies like the COVID-19 pandemic and that hit the rest of the world in 2020, or the economic recession considered the worst since 1983. It will interest you to know that at 62, Nigeria's airports are rated among what some say the worst in the world. We will understand that, with no evidence or variable aerotropolis or full-fledged aviation market anywhere around the world. Let's talk about this. I will do a critical assessment of the state of Nigeria's aviation industry from, of course, 1960 till date. And joining me is an award-winning aviation journalist and analyst, Mr. Wale Shadari. Thank you so much. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Tolu, for having me once again.
In your write-up, aviation scorecards improved against all odds. Let's identify some of these odds. I know one big one is what we've seen with the exchange rates, exorbitant tickets, and all of that. But you are a player in this segment. Give us an overview of what you've seen, and let's take it a little bit back so that we know where we are. It's not all bad news, I know.
Yeah, it's not all bad news. Thank you, Tolu.
Yeah.
If you take a look at the aviation industry in Nigeria, it depends on the divide you belong to or how you have seen it. It's not all rosy, but at the same time, like you said, we have done remarkably well in the aviation industry. If there are no challenges, you won't make progress. And these challenges are there for you to work on and see how best you can surmount those challenges. If you look at aviation in the last 7 years of this administration, I would say it's not that bad. We've made giant strides. When you look at what we have achieved in terms of infrastructure, in terms of manpower development, in terms of national carrier that is we're trying to have.
Is it on the pipeline, in the pipeline?
No. I won't say it's in the pipeline because the promoters have done remarkably well. And I think that they've reached 65, 70% of the entire project. So before December, hopefully this airline will fly. Then if you also look at the aviation industry, we cannot talk about successes without also talking about the challenges. The challenges are still there, but it takes the will for the government or the minister to see how best he can do before this administration's tenure expires in May. Like I said, the issue of high ticket cost is there for everyone to see, which is not palatable for frequent travelers. We also have the issue of Forex, which has hit the aviation industry so hard. And you cannot insulate some of these things that are happening in aviation. You can't insulate it from the general
the wider economy.
Exactly. So we have seen it. But one thing is remarkable is that since 2016, since 2015, the aviation industry had been hit by 2 recessions, and somehow they've been able to come out of it. And we also know what happened with COVID, that virtually grounded aviation, not only in Nigeria and but in the whole world. And we are already getting out of it, or let me put it this way: we are already out of it. We are yet to get to the pre-COVID year. I think we have reached 80% of recovery, but we still need a lot of things to do. Aviation recovered from COVID very fast in Nigeria, because when international travel was suspended, or the airspace was closed to international travel, the domestic travel picked up remarkably because a lot of people wanted to travel to see families they had not seen for 1 year, 2 years. A lot of businesses, people were tired of Zoom meetings. Zoom meetings were very, very helpful, but people wanted to see people. People wanted to meet in person. So we're able to get out of that. But the bigger issues there, like I said, is that of forest, because there's nothing you're going to do in the aviation industry. It's highly capital intensive.
About 80%.
About 80%
of the expenses.
Exactly.
All
because
in foreign exchange.
What happened is that the airlines receive their revenue in naira, but they spend in dollars. And we shouldn't also forget that that has also put Nigeria at a collision head with international airlines. You know, over $465 million of airlines funds were trapped in Nigeria.
Yes.
But the federal government was able, through the Central Bank of Nigeria, was able to release 265, remaining $200 million as at last month. I hope that the CBN will be able to give back the airlines all what belongs to them. And that has also affected international air travel in the sense that airfares have gone up so highly that a lot of people can't even afford to travel abroad, except people who have the money to do that, or people who are compelled to travel, maybe people going for medicals, people going for studies, and, you know, or people who are desperate to see their families are the ones that are able to buy this ticket. You can imagine this same ticket, economy class ticket, was last year was about 350, 400,000 naira to London from Lagos, for example. But now you can't get it less than 1.5, 1.6 million for economy and 5 million, 6 million for business class ticket. And that has also affected in the number of people that
I wanted to say that. There must be an effect. Once there's that increase, there's going to be a drop because the demand will reduce.
Exactly. The demand has reduced even on domestic route because if you want to get to Abuja now, to and fro, the least you can get for a ticket is about 140, 150,000. Before, with 60,000, 70,000, you get to Abuja. And how much do people really earn for them to be able to afford to travel, except government officials, business people who are regular travelers? The same thing has also affected international air travel because a lot of people are, you know, looking at their travel and trying to prioritize it. And that has, like I said, has really affected international travel. If you look at it, what the foreign airlines have done is to close the lower inventories. What we mean by lower inventories, in economy class cabin, you can have from, maybe it starts with the lower fare, maybe 300, 400. Then when that one full, you go to the next one, you get like 500, 6,000. So they've canceled those lower inventories. What they have done now is to go to the highest. So what it means is that that fare you're getting now is what you will get ordinarily if you're just going to the airport to buy. But now, if you're even going to the airport to just buy your ticket and fly immediately, it could even be as high as 2 million or 2.5 million for economic class ticket. So that has really, really affected. And the airlines sat down to say, our monies are trapped in Nigeria. By the time we get our money back, depreciation would have set in. So in order not to lose their money, so they've decided to cancel those lower classes and go for the higher classes, that if eventually they get their money, with all the depreciation in the whole world, they'll still get their money. So that is what has happened. So if you also look at so many things that have also happened in the aviation industry, like charges, high charges, the airlines are complaining, cost of jet fare has gone up astronomically.
More than 200%.
Yes, and that's huge because aviation fuel takes about 35-40% of airlines' revenue. But now, I think it takes over 60% of their revenue. And no airline can survive on that. So what most of them are doing now is to cut their operation, their fleet size, and make sure that they will be able to be in operation. All those are the negatives of what the aviation industry has gone through in the past 7 years and so. But if you're looking in terms of infrastructure, we have done relatively well. because the airfield lighting that has been, the project that has been there for more than 16 years, the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria has commenced work on it. What it means is that the airfield lighting in Lagos for the domestic airport runway, airlines can fly and land on that runway at any time, of the day, rather than go to the international, the longer and the bigger runway, which also causes congestion because international flight and domestic flight will be landing almost at the same time. So you have a lot of congestion. And that has been, FAN is doing that after the federal government released about 3 billion naira for that project to be fixed. And that is kudos for the present administration. They have been able to do that. Then if you also look at the airport terminals, although some of these terminals didn't start with this administration, but what they try to do is to make sure that no projects that they inherited were abandoned. They try to complete most of those terminals. The Lagos terminal was about 30% or 20% completed by the time they inherited it. But that terminal is one of the best terminals now in Nigeria, including that of Abuja and Port Harcourt. So these are the positives that we also have derived from this administration in the last 7 years. But that is not to say that we have not faced a lot of challenges in the sector. Like they say, government is a continuum. We hope that whoever wins the election, we continue from some of these achievements they have recorded. And some of the challenges they have also left or they are going to leave behind will also be completed. So we have a lot of things to be happy about. And more airlines are coming, although we have lost some too.
Yeah, we have.
But more airlines are also coming into the industry to expand the market. Like I've forgotten one airline is coming very soon. Air Nigeria is also coming. The leasing company is also coming. And the concession of the airport will also be completed.
Yes, I was going there as in looking at federal government's policy on roadmap for the aviation sector. You started talking on around some of them, which is establishment of a national carrier and the concession of 4 of the nation's airports and establishment of a maintenance and repair and overall center. That is very important.
That is very important in the sense that if we are able to have a standard MRO facility in Nigeria, it will help the airlines.
Yes.
I think the airlines spend more than 200 billion. That's just conservative. I think they spend close to 300-400 billion annually to service their aircraft abroad. And we do not have a very good maintenance facility. Yeah. So what most of them do is to go to Addis Ababa. Ethiopia has one of the best maintenance facilities in the world that can compete with the likes of British Airways and the rest. They go to Algeria.
Airline is something else. We'll go there. We'll go there.
So that will benefit the airlines because once they have problem or once an aircraft is due for D-check is the most comprehensive check you can have on aircraft. What they do tear down, they tear the aircraft, they almost turn it into a new one. So we don't have that capability or capacity in Nigeria. What we do have is the C maintenance category, which Aero Contractor is doing, but Aero does not have that capacity to handle like 10, 15 aircraft in a year. Although they do handle even some of the airlines go to them to have their aircraft repaired, but that's just C-check. So that is also going to save us a lot of money, save the airlines a lot of money because it costs so much in foreign exchange to ferry an aircraft to Addis Ababa and return it. And what happens is that when you get there, they are not going to start working on your aircraft. You have to be on the queue. And it can take you like 1 month, 2 months, even 3 months. And once your aircraft have all gone out for maintenance, you begin to suffer. And that is the reason you see most of these airlines going out to lease aircraft to take care of their market. So that would be a huge one for Nigeria. I just hope that we'll be able to pull this through because to set up an aircraft maintenance facility it costs so much. Not only does it cost so much, it takes time. So I do not know who the federal government is talking with, but I know that the Minister of Aviation is working towards that. But I do not know whether that will be feasible before they leave office. But it's a good thing that we're going to have. If someone else comes in, I think they should continue from where the minister has left.
I'm going to follow up with the carrier thing because it's so interesting and we're already running out of time. But talking about the investors and the federal government having 5%, Ethiopia is doing about, I think, 49%.
And you have MRS. Nigerian Sovereign Fund is no longer.
It's no longer. I think there was another press release saying that that is not. There was a mix-up.
Yes, that was a mix-up.
So let's clarify that. And also, what do you think about these stakes of federal government of having 5% in this?
Yes, I think I'm excited about it. And that's what that sector has clamored for. Stakeholders have clamored for that. Government must not have majority stake in the airline. If they do, we stand the risk of running that airline the way we ran Nigeria Airways. Nigeria Airways was grounded because it was 100% owned by government. You see people come in with their family, people in government, and say, okay, you have to take this aircraft with my family to London, with my family to Accra, without paying for that. So, and all over the world, people are no longer running 100% owned carrier. Ethiopian Airlines has investment in so many African airlines. You'll be shocked that Ethiopian Airlines has investment in Air Namibia, investment in so many Africa. So we've gotten to a level that airlines are no longer owned 100%. It is a business venture. The government all over the world cannot run business. What they do most times, somebody will tell me, but United Arab Emirates is running a fully owned emirate, and so, but that is a country that is disciplined. We are not disciplined as a people. We are not disciplined as leaders. So
I like that truth. I like that. I like that.
The private sector people are allowed into a business. They run it perfectly because they have the expertise to run. The government doesn't have expertise to run any business. Yes. What they do, just provide the enabling environment. So people have put their money into it. What government has done with that 5% is to give it the protection. British Airways, it looks like a company owned by the British government. It's not owned by the British government. You will be shocked that so many influential Nigerians are stakeholders in British Airways, Lufthansa, Air France, and KLM. So that is how it should be, so that government does not control it. Government does not run it. So what government has done is to give it that protection with that 5%. Just like British Airways, if you want to see, let me use this balance, the red eyes of the UK government tamper with British Airways, then they will tell you, they will bring down their might on you, like they always do with us. Whenever we have issues with them, they come with all their best hand to prevail on our government, why British Airways should continue to operate in Nigeria, and they can't actually leave Nigeria because the bulk of their money in Africa comes from Nigeria. So I think they are the #1 in revenue earning, followed by Emirates and Qatar. So Nigeria is very critical for most of these foreign airlines. So what government has done and what the minister has done, honestly, is commendable. What I do not know is that I wish they will run this airline successfully, because if you look at airlines all over the world, a lot of countries have used airlines as a political tool to bargain. British Airways will come to Nigeria or any other place to use the airline to bargain for a lot of things, like bilateral air services agreement, so many things. So I hear people say, do we need a national carrier? Anyway, this is not a national carrier, it's a national, or what I call flag carrier airline, which is not owned by government, but people are coming. And to look to, you too can buy shares in the airline, because we still have remaining shares in the airline. If you are interested, I think you can contact government. No, you very much have the capacity to do that. So you can also buy shares, and it will be for Nigerians, it will be for Nigerian companies. I'm excited about it because one, it will also generate a lot of employment. airlines are a veritable means of generating a lot of employment. Because if you set up one airline has
the
capacity. Yes, the value chain. And it has a catalytic effect on every other sector. You have the vendors, people who supply food, people who supply fuel, people who will do this, who will clean the aircraft. So it brings a lot of employment. And I'm so excited because I will always support any investment in aviation on anywhere, because I know a lot of people will be employed, a lot of people we have future. And you know, if one person is employed in a place, it goes down a lot of people, the family, the children, a lot of people benefit from it. So that is why I'm so excited about it. A lot of people, some people have criticized this, and I said, no, I will support it. My anger with the federal government was when this project was being delayed, and I said, what is our problem? Let us have this airline. And now that we have the airline, and you want me to criticize that, I will never criticize it, because it's a good thing that Nigerians are going to have an airline. But it also does not stop other private sector airlines like ARIC, like Air Peace. You know, I believe that the sky is so wide for everybody to. People will have value for money. So if I'm going to Abuja and you have a lot of aircraft, the fares will come down. So I can make my choice. People can make their choices and say, okay, this is one I want to go. And it will bring competition. Everybody will sit up and say, okay, let me provide the best for Nigerians.
Services and all of that.
Exactly.
Interesting. I know we can go on this for 1 hour, but that's what time can take. I've been speaking to Mr. Wale Shadari. There. He is an aviation analyst, journalist, award-winning one. Thank you so much for always making time for us on Business Nigeria. We appreciate this.
Thank you.